Welcome back to my channel. My name's Laura Watson, and in this video, I'm going to show you some footage from my How to Paint Watercolor Violets class. This is from my 12 months of birth flowers series, where I painted the birth flower for every month last year, and I made a full-length instructional video for it, which I host on my website. So this is sort of a preview and just showing you some of the steps I take with my 3-step method to create a simple but beautiful botanical painting. I'm starting off by transferring my drawing onto my watercolor paper. I'm using 140-pound fluid brand paper by Speedball. Now I'm just going to mix up my colors. I like to make sure I mix up all of my colors that I'm going to use before I start painting. And then I'm getting right down to painting using my 3-step painting method. This video is sped up. It is showing you the main portions and steps that I take to use my 3-step painting method to complete botanical paintings in less time. So this is a full-length, real-time tutorial from my website that you can purchase. And the first step for my 3-step painting method is just getting a base layer down using wet on dry and creating tonal variation with sort of faded out graded washes and mixed washes as well. And then the second step is creating contour lines and veins with a finer brush like I'm doing here. And then any type of markings or texture that is needed for the botanical painting. It'll depend on what you need for various different plants. Then I'm making sure that that's completely dry before I move on to step 3. I'm just adding in a few more veins before I move on. And step 3 is where we really create more shape and form and depth and 3-dimension in the painting, and things start to come to life. This is step 2 on the leaves, and again I'm just using my 00 brush and making sure I'm using really light pressure to get nice fine lines. And this is implying where the veins would be. I'm not painting them all in, and I'm making sure that I'm not making anything perfectly straight because veins usually have sort of some wiggles in them. So this is the beginning of step 3, and I've just flipped my painting around because I found it easier to work in this sort of smaller area by changing my painting around. I don't have to tape my watercolor paper down onto a board or anything like that because I'm not doing a big background. I'm just doing really sort of small amounts of color on the botanical portrait, so it's not buckling my paper very much. If I was going to do a big animal portrait or something with a big background, then I would tape it down. So this is the majority of time it takes for me to complete my paintings, usually is step 3. And you can see I'm just taking small amounts of paint, and I'm making sure that I'm using different colors and tones of paint. So I've got like about 3 or 4 different mixes for these violets. Even though they might just look purple, there's usually lots of different tones. So assessing the color of your subject is something that's really important. And then using the small brush, I'm just building up small areas of color, and then I am blending them out with a clean, damp brush, and then adding the same sort of drama to the leaves and the stems as well. And I'm using a bigger brush for the leaves because they're just a bigger area. And you could take a lot more time putting more detail into these leaves, and I have a lot more sort of realistic and detailed paintings as well, but this is my style that I do for beginners, for teaching people how to get started with botanical painting, or something that I might want to do in my sketchbook where I don't want to take too much time. And if you don't, have maybe just an hour every few days, or maybe only an hour once a week, then this is more a style that is realistic for you to achieve your painting results that you'd like for becoming a botanical painter. So now I'm just moving on to add my final details here. I'm adding some really dark mix with some neutral tint added into it to the centers of the violets to really create that depth and the drama that kind of makes them pop out. And that's it. This is my violet painting, which is the birth flower for February. And this is painting number 2 of my 12 painting series for the birth flowers for each month of the year. You can check it out on my website if you want more info. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you would like to know more about my 3-step painting method, how I create my botanical paintings, or how to paint these violets in particular, then you can just check out the link in the description below. There's more information on my website. You can also buy this class on its own and find out every single step that I took and all the colors and everything as well. And please subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you in the next one.